land. We're so happy that you've joined us. They'll be joining as, do they join for, I don't know if they joined for me. I don't know. All right, wait, I have a question for you. Did anybody see The Voice last night? Yes! Okay. Did you see the last girl, Joanna, I get her name wrong, Serenko? Did you see the last girl? No. She got a 4-chair turn. Yeah. They fought for her. Nick Jonas stopped everything and said, I want to fight for you. And she ended up picking him. Well, I just want to say that she is the daughter of my first love, Paul Blumber. Oh. And she is unbelievably talented. Wow. And you can read about Paul. I won't tell you who he is. I was going to read a chapter about Paul today, but I've decided that wouldn't be nice. I think she's amazing. That'd be great. Do it! No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to read to you because we actually have authors in the house. So I always try to keep up the fort, but you can buy Don't Jump, Sex, and have quite the ride. And speaking of picking up my book and reading it, I want to say I'm getting really sick and tired of having to eulogize every single month. And it has been a non-stop. What is going on? All right. Hubert O'Hearn. What? Hubert O'Hearn, who found me on Facebook 11 years ago, right at the beginning of Women Who Write, who decided to champion this thing that we do. And what he said about it is, it's not on here. He said, Women Who Write is the best writer's salon in North America, maybe the world. Wow. And he put that in the Herald de Paris. He put it in the Sacramento and San Diego book reviews. He put me on the cover of all of those and did a whole article about Women Who Write. He didn't even know me. He just started watching this stuff happen, and we weren't even live on Facebook in those days. He was just reading the recaps, and I did put up videos. I did put up videos on YouTube. And then when my book was coming out, Hubert was the first person to ask me if he could read it when it was still in galleys. And he has the #1 quote on the back of my book. Don't Jump is a delicious roman play a la Carrie Fisher. It has intelligence without snobbery, a wit beyond crudity, a sensitivity without preachiness, and is funny as all hell. He was just a champion for writers, for artists, for musicians. Lydia, he walked Lydia through the whole process of writing her book and cheerleaded her through it. He did the same with me.
He published a book of my poetry.
He published a book of Lydia Cornell. She's in the house. She'll be up here soon. She's been here before. She's going to be back again. He was just an extraordinary man. And we used to FaceTime all the time, Skype in those days. And I'm very saddened to say that we hadn't done it in quite some time. And that we hadn't been in touch in a few months. And the last message I got from him was in September. And we used to talk almost daily.
Me too.
And
what happened the last year of his life?
I don't know what happened, but all I know is that was a cry for help, the fact that he disappeared. And I let him disappear. And so for me, the lesson is to not do that anymore. That the people that are hiding, I'm going to go find. And yes, Lynn Stewart, Missy Vaughn from Pee Wee's Big Adventure. He's also wearing orange, and it's delightful. Yes.
But sometimes that's what they want. That's their wishes.
Yeah, that's true.
When people get terminal illnesses, especially.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we know, Lydia, what
I just talked to April Hunter, and she said that he had a heart condition.
Well, he had a heart attack, yeah.
And then a friend of mine told me a year ago he had cancer, but he didn't want me to know.
Oh.
I talked to him every day for 7 years.
Oh, my God.
And emails, I have over 2,000 emails back and forth of love notes and poetry and essays.
Can we show Lydia Pete? Pete's on his phone. We're going to show Lydia.
I'm looking at Lydia on my phone.
Oh, Lydia, my encyclopedia. There's Lydia Cornell. There's Dee hiding back there, and Gabrielle, and TBear, and James Lee. Okay, you can come back to me now. the something's moving into Aries, and Mars is moving into Aries soon, and then I read it's all about me. But right now, it's all about us. It's always all about us. Isn't it all about us? I made these notes, and I have no idea what they say, because I can't read my own handwriting. Okay, so also, this week marked the passing of my father 9 years ago, and Larry Katz, who was a master of ceremonies in the Catskill Mountains, and everything that I do before you, I got from him. So blame him. And the only thing he didn't give me, I cannot sing, and this is not, my father was a singer, he was a crooner, he was an unbelievable singer, and he was adorable and handsome and wonderful, and I miss you, Dad. And it was also Samantha's 22nd birthday. Yay! And lots of things to mark, and lots of good things. And then I found out that I have Hashimoto's, and that is not a Japanese restaurant. I was hoping that we were going to eat. No, it's not. And not only that, but I am no longer having gluten, sugar, dairy, soy, no fucking joy. My God. Well, I don't have, but I have been pushing through for so long that I can't, I haven't been able to work out for a year, and I was blaming being lazy. I'm just exhausted, and I'm in a fog, and my father passed from Alzheimer's, and I was really starting to think that I had early onset because I couldn't remember anything. And then, do you know that feeling when I didn't know the feeling, but literally I'm in a fog most of the day. And I would think, I got an elliptical for Christmas, Hanukkah, Dad, and I couldn't get on the thing. And it turns out I'm not just a lazy person. And I have stopped writing on my screenplay like 7 months ago. I can't focus. I haven't really written anything like long form, any articles. So there's a reason for it. So the eating right is helping a bit, but it turns out I start telling people that I have this, and literally every third person I have spoken to has thyroid disease. I don't know what that is, and it turns out my mother had it 20 years ago, and she said, so I was a little sick for a few months. I was tired, and she went on the drug for 3 months, and she's been off and in total remission. So that can happen. I speak to other people, they're on this drug for like 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and they still feel crappy. I don't know. So, but I've got the answer today because Dee is going to heal me and all of us because that's the truth. Dee gave me these affirmations to do. She had me back in, I was trying to find love and money. She goes, money! I should wake up every morning and go, money! Love! And I found the love. So I got to say, so I'm working. And I might not have like the income, but I'm still in the house. I still got the car. I still got the kids. My daughter went to NYU. Something's going right. So some way, somebody's got my back and front and all of that stuff. So anyway, I told you guys, I think last time we met, maybe I didn't, maybe it was before. No, I think I told you that I had made a commitment to Jeremy Stevens. Hi, Jeremy, my life coach, because of course I have a life coach. I live in LA. That I would not complain. That in my most close relationships, where I tend to do the most bitching and complaining, and especially in my love relationship, I tend to point out everything that's going wrong. I made the commitment 3 weeks ago that I would no longer say anything but be happy all the time, to accept this person exactly as they are, and to be grateful, and to not complain. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't do it with other people. I'm allowed to talk about him behind his back. No, but it's not, because it's not like that. It's through a program. I use my steps, and I talk to God. And I do it like that. And it's so spiritual when I see that. No, I never do that. But anyway, what's happened is, as a result, one of my God squad, because I have a God squad because I live in LA. And anyway, so I have this God squad, and one of them told me that if I do this, and Jeremy told me this too, that if I just put forth my absolute best, and if I am my best self all the time, I will eventually start to feel that way. So that when I want to say, why the fuck are you doing that? If instead I say, I'm so happy to see you, darling, I will take that on and I will feel those feelings. And it hasn't happened yet. No, it's getting a little bit, you know, a little bit. I'm starting to, you know, embrace the goodness. Although last night I was just more than a little bit. So, but he didn't know it. He does now. So, you know, so I stapled today because I always. Anyway, so I had committed to 2 weeks of being my best self, and then I upped it. I parlayed it. I'm in my second term, and you know, we just might keep this going, you know, like indefinitely. Like, and I will not say that I did not falter. I have to say that I've had a couple of moments, but no big catastrophes, no big dramas, no fights, no carrying on. Just a little teeny tiny moment where I might have said something that could have started something, but it didn't because I stopped. I did stop. So anyway, so I challenge you to try this with your most challenging relationships, because I'm also using it, my book, Don't Jump, Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll, and I'm fucking mother. No, my mother is wonderful and I love my mother and I don't even really have to try anymore. We really are getting along. There's a lot of catharsis and healing from writing. I recommend it highly to this room of writers. It works. That does work, I know for sure. So, anyway, I'm slamming things, I'm making a lot of noise.
Go, Vicki.
Go, Vicki. Okay, so a lot of us are wearing orange and red and colorful things happening today. I don't know what that is, but I'm loving it. Everybody looks great. Okay, I was like wearing white, like white and black. That's all I ever wear. Yeah, that's all I ever wear. So it was time to brighten it up. Okay, so I want to thank a few people. Oh, I want to talk about this. You see these? You see these? They're fabulous, right? Yeah. Yeah. Target. They cost about $5.99, and you slap those suckers on like 5 minutes before you're ready to go, and boom! And I pop them all the time, and I slap another one on. Because I can't go for manicures and pedicures because I'm allergic to whatever they use, which is probably the Hashimoto's. And so I used to, like at 1:30 in the morning on the night before Women Write, I'd be doing my nails and go, I'm tired, I want to go to bed. I don't have to do that anymore. Boom! So I recommend them highly. I went to Gigi Lavangi's, she calls herself Lavangi, I always say. Lavangi, she'll be here soon. Her book is called Been There, Married That. She'll be here soon. She wrote Stepmom with Julia Roberts, and Julia Roberts played her. She was married to Brian Grazer. She used to be Gigi Lavangi Grazer. Anyway, I walked in and she said, I like your nails. And so I told her that I got them at Target, and she said, you know, women don't do that in LA. They don't, you say you like something and I don't know what they do, but anyway, we share this information. Well, who cares? Do you care if they're real? Michael, do you care if they're real? As long as they feel good on you. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so
It's getting hot in here.
I want to thank a few people that I could not do this without.
Hot flash.
Linda Apsey, the greatest photographer. She's going to make us all look 20 years younger and gorgeous. I want to thank Pete George, my wingman. Can you do something with the video and make us look 20 years younger? I want to thank Elle Latch, who welcomes us so beautifully. And right here, she didn't make the gluten, soy, dairy, free, sugar-free, because I told her not to, but she makes the best kugel in the world.
Yes, in the
Penny
world.
Barnett is here, and aside from the kugel, after you guys leave, Penny stays, and she completely restores my house to what it looked like before you bitches got here. And she saves my life. She literally saves my life, and I'm so grateful to all of you. And to every person who puts their ass in a chair, their fine ass in a chair in this living room, I am so grateful to all of you, because it's just not, you know, I'm so happy that you're all watching out there, and I really, really am. And a lot of you are all over the world, and you can't be here. There are those of you who are in LA, aren't even working today, and you're telling me that you have to write. When people tell me they're not coming here because they have to write, I'm sorry, but they need to see a therapist. Because what is going to motivate somebody to write more than coming to be creative more than to be in this? These are once in a lifetime experiences that we are never going to get again and that we are going to remember forever. Do you ever come here and not take away like a huge chunk of love and memory and heart? I mean,
Never.
You're crazy. You're crazy. All right, that's your choice. You can do whatever you want to do. I release you with hope. I'm my best self right now. Okay. Motherfucker. Okay. I slipped. Okay, so tomorrow on Game Changers, Pamela DeBars is going to be with us. Pete and I are going to Pamela's house. Pamela wrote I'm with the band. We are going to be talking about all the men she slept with, and let me tell you, that is a long, and it's Mick Jagger, and it's
Everybody
it's
slept
Robert
with that
Plant.
Michael
It's,
Barr.
oh my God, it's Michael Barr. But she's also got she's absolutely unashamed, unabashed,
Good.
willing to talk. She told us this great story about Mick in a hot tub. Anyway, so it's so good. I think was so that's really interesting. Anyway, but Pamela's also written a slew of books. She teaches writing. She has wonderful parties. She's so much more than what is perceived of her. And she was in Almost Famous. She was one of the characters that Penny Lane was fashioned after. So quite the character. So next month at Women Who Write, Marcus Eaton will be back in the house. I call him football because he doesn't look like a musician to me. He looks like a big, handsome football player. Anyway, he'll be in the house. Also, Leland Sklar will be here with Judith Owen, and they're going to be playing, which is Lee has played on 2,000 plus albums. He plays with everybody. He's going on a rock and roll cruise with the immediate family, which is all those superstars, and he's just amazing. And Judith Owen is a wonderful singer-songwriter. She's married to Harry Shearer, who, by the way, at a party last year said yes to me. So I'll be working that angle. And also in the house will be Michael Leonard, 4-time Emmy winner.
Wow.
We're going to the Waltons. Yeah, I know, I love her too. And also in April, we're going to have Jenny Boyd. Jenny is the sister of Patty Boyd, the sister-in-law of George Harrison, the wife of Mick Fleetwood. Boy, does she have stories. I'm reading her book right now. It's amazing. Jennifer Juniper, it's called. She inspired the Donovan song. Yeah.
Do you have a date for the march?
Yeah, March is, what's the last, 31st is the last Tuesday of the month. It's March 31st, and it's April 28th, I think. It's the last Tuesday of both those months. Okay. So I mix things up. We're going to do things a little differently today. Dee actually asked to open for her daughter, which is not something that happens every day. But we're gonna start with music because that's what we do. And I was actually going to reverse. Everything is different, so I have to flip my pages now. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, for those of you who watched Game Changers with Vicki Abelson and Pete George. We're on Wednesdays live on the Facebook at 7 p.m. Pacific time. TBear was on the show with us recently, and he's got a lot of names. I have a lot of names, Vicky, Katz, Pete, Abelson. But he's Richard Gerstein, but he's also known as TBear. And we sat down with TBear at his house maybe 2 weeks ago. We had a fabulous time. He played a lot of music, and then we went out for Chinese food, and we ran into Tommy Chong. Guess who's going to be on Game Changers a week from Wednesday? So I said to him, Tommy, I had to stop smoking pot like years ago, and he said, that's okay, I have strips for you. That's what he said. I swear, right? Okay. Richard TBear was born in New York City. All right, so was I. He did most of his growing up in Florida and the Caribbean, which makes his story interesting, where he, I'm reading without glasses, where his musical influences were calypso, mento, and Latin rhythms. His live performing credits lists like a who's who of rock and roll. He performed with Dave Mason, Mick Fleetwood, the Doobie Brothers, Johnny Winter, the Jay Giles Band, Jeff Beck, Richie Havens, and the Rascals, for some. With 7 solo albums in his pocket, a crazy appearance with Dick Clark, which you've got to see, 5 years ago, with the encouragement of his wife, Nina, he started writing songs and playing music again. He had a little hiatus. Maybe he'll tell us a little bit about that. Richard contacted the best musicians, producers, and recording engineers in Los Angeles and started a 2-year recording process, cutting 23 tracks. The album is now finished, and 17 songs have been mixed and mastered. Featuring, amongst others, Robbie Krieger, Stephen Stills, Edgar Winter, Tom Scott, Mike Finnegan, Dean Parks, Denny Sywell, Tony Bronigal, and even the Wrecking Crew's Chuck Berghofer. The album, at last, is finished. It's called Fresh Bear Tracks. He is now a new and treasured friend and an artist that I adore and respect. It is my pleasure to introduce TBear! TBear's going to be at the Write-Off Room on March 7th.
March 14th.
14th? I thought it was the 7th.
March 24th.
Oh, all of those.
The IRS.
And in April 18th, Casa Escobar, Malibu. April 19th, the Canyon Club in Agora. And April 30th, Bogies.
All right.
So, money, love, and all that shit. Yeah, so we have this new album, Fresh Bear Tracks. It's dedicated to my wife, Nina, who passed away in September from cancer. And she was the force behind me getting back into music and making the record. And so it's dedicated to Nina. And we play a lot. I have a band made up of ex-Wings members and the horn players from Springsteen's band, and we have a lot of fans that come out and see us. It's called TBear and Route 66. Cool. So we lost another guy this year that I'll talk about. His name is Mac Rabenak. And if you don't know who Mac Rabenak is, it's Dr. John the Night Tripper. Dr. John. And a lot of us in that band had played with him, had gotten clean and sober with him. Last week I celebrated 37 years. I support that style of living.
Amen.
Yes.
And that's why I'm here today. So when Matt passed, I got a live feed from New Orleans, and thousands of people got together in the Treme, and they started what's known as the second line. I don't know if you know what a second line is, but that's when everybody comes together and starts a parade of love and joy. And I saw this live feed from one of the stations, and it just affected me so much. One of the commentators said, "Oh, that's Dr. John's stepdaughter, Stephanie, in the middle." And they were commenting as it got bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, that night I thought about it, and I decided I was going to write a poem about Mac. Well, I wrote the poem, I sent it away, and it's gone viral. And I have with me Maxwell Bunny Butler, who's in our band. He's the other keyboard player. I'm a keyboard player as well.
TBear, do you want the microphone?
Maybe?
I don't know, it's up to you. Can everybody
Okay.
hear TBear okay?
Yeah. So far, but
I'm
with
thinking
the
you got it, maybe you should
Okay.
use it.
Here we go. Yeah.
Okay.
My mother gave me more chord than this. Okay. Fasten on his feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you this poem, and basically what you're going to hear is the first part of the poem is from Dr. John's perception. he doesn't realize he's passed yet, and he's walking through New Orleans. So, here we go. I walked across the levee and through the Tremay today. The second line was waiting for the tubers to start a parade. Now the trombones slid up on the trumpets and the drums just felt so tight. Was this for Fats, Fess, or Toussaint? But something was just not right. I recognized a girl in the middle of the crowd. It was my granddaughter Stephanie, singing Crying Out Loud. And I caught a reflection in the window and a person looking back. It was then I recognized the man who some call Malcolm Mac Rabenack. My feet suddenly left the ground and I slowly rose above. And I realized all at once it was for me, all this outpouring of love. Now I hovered above the music as I floated with the wind, and I heard a gospel choir, and that finally drew me in. The angels surrounded me and rang a golden chime. It's time to leave the Crescent City and the loves I left behind. And I've never felt so good and sad, and a tear ran down my face. I was in the right time as I entered heaven, and I crossed over the pearly gates. Now, Doctor has left the building, and across this mortal plane, I cried tonight from sadness as he boarded that heavenly train. Now, he walked on gilded splinters with a Zulu staff of light. And as he lifted into the sky, he whispered, such a night. 2, 3, 4, 1. Such a night. Such a night. Sweet confusion under the moonlight. Such a night. I'm gonna steal away, when the time is right. And your eyes caught mine at a glance. You let me know this was my chance. You came here with my best friend Jim. Here I am trying to steal you away from him, but I don't do it, somebody else will. If I don't do it, somebody else will. If I don't do it, somebody else will. If I don't do it, somebody else will. That's right. That's supposed to be fun. Maxwell Funny Brother. It's such a night. Such a night. Sweet confusion, yes, under the moonlight. It's such a night. It's such a night. I'm gonna steal away when the time is right. And I could not believe my ears. My heart skips a beat when
don't get you somebody.
Come on, Maxwell, there was that. Take her home now. Maxwell Bunny Butler is in the house.
Wait, tell us your last name again?
Butler.
Butler.
Yes.
Maxwell Butler.
Bunny.
One more hit.
Bunny, that's what they call me.
Bunny.
So I'm going to give you one from the album. This is one Vicki likes.
It is.
And it's one Nina really liked as well. So we'll leave you with this one.
People are funny, how they're strange. Love to be lonely, love running around in silly games. Oh, love silly games. Love to be lonely, love to be blue, don't you? The earth is a circle spinning around. People keep fighting, won't stop until they cut each other down. Won't stop till they're down. We love to be lonely, but we love to be blue, don't you? We love to be lonely, and we love to be blue, don't you? I've been around this world forever. I'm locked in this hideaway. Like a faded old photograph, joke without a laugh, in my one-act play. People are funny, how they're strange. Love to be lonely, love running around in silly games. Love in silly games. And we love to be lonely, but we love to be blue, don't you? We love to be lonely, and we love to be blue, don't you? People are funny, aren't they strange?
this living room today and how much talent there is sitting out there. We've got Harriet Schock, who wrote Ain't No Way to Treat a Lady. We've got Tracy Newman, we've got Lynn Stewart, we've got Lydia Cornell, we've got the music muse. We've got all kinds of people here that are, everyone is just extraordinary and blessed. Feel very blessed to be in everybody's good company. So we're doing something unusual. Normally Dee would go last, but she has no ego, and so she's decided. Dee, you're not being.
I just wanted to fit in before I came.
You know, and the thing is that Dee's being her best self. Okay, there is nothing on that table that I can eat pretty much, and I'm blaming the Hashimoto's. I can't eat. I had to stop eating Cheetos, but not because of that, not because of Hashimoto's. I quit a long time ago because the idiot in chief now is about that. And I just want to say, why isn't Adam Schiff running for president?
Yes.
And I just want to say, will somebody please throw his hat in the ring really fast before March 4th? I have no idea who I'm voting for. This is crazy. Nobody can win. This is not right. It's not good. So we need Adam. We just need Adam, right? Adam! Okay. So today was really about healing. You know, Richard TBear, I don't know what to call. What should I call you? Call you mine. No. Came to mind. Richard lost his wife recently and is healing from that. Gabrielle is going to tell us all about what she is healing from. James Lee had surgery recently and had something very serious, and he is thriving now really quickly. They say he's been sick for like 6 months, and it's been like, what, 3 days, and you're back. And I have Hashimoto's, and so today was about healing, and when I couldn't, there are no accidents and there are no mistakes. The fact that this day was about healing. Lynn is wearing a hood. You know, it's normally, she's got that, it's freezing, because normally it is so hot in here and everybody, see, but I have Hashimoto's, I'm hot. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Is it cold in here? Everybody always complains. It's perfect. I don't know. All right. Anyway, I can't think of anybody more perfect to be here on a day when we're talking about healing than Dee. Because I'm not kidding. The affirmations that she gave me to do all those years ago, I've been doing them, and something is happening. Where do I have Dee? We've got to find Dee because I was going to. She was at the end of my thing. Okay. Who doesn't know what we know Dee Wallace from? E.T. Hello! Iconic movie, iconic person, iconic Steven Spielberg. But she's also an author, a teacher, a dancer. Somebody said on the thread yesterday that you're a great dancer. I don't know this about you. Show us! She just gave us, what is that called? She twerked. She taught me. Yeah. They're twerking. She's an actress in film, television, on stage with over 100 credits plus. To her name, they include The Howling, Cujo, 10, Cujo. I know, she's so scary. It's so scary. I don't know how you can be in those movies. I can barely watch them. Okay. And most notably, her starring role in E.T. I can't not watch it. If I am passing channels and that, I'm there. The 2 hours, whatever it is gone, because I cannot pass that movie. To this day, it is still maybe the most endearing thing I've ever seen. She was more recently featured in the remake of Rob Zombie's Halloween. You want to talk about scary? Oh my God! Her countless television credits include starring roles in over 20 movies of the week and 4 hit television series, include Sons and Daughters, Grey's Anatomy, Cold Case, Without a Trace, Ghost Whisperer, a recurring role on My Name is Earl, and the Amazon young adult hit Just Add Magic. The woman has 5 projects in post-production as I was writing this. Dee is also an author, a healer, and a teacher. She's authored, somebody's phone is really annoying us today. Okay. Sorry. She's... Okay, would everybody please, because that's the second one that's gone off today, would everybody please check your phones and make sure. No, how about turning it off?
My phone only has you.
Okay, so, okay, she's authored 5 books on the subject of of self-creation, including conscious creation and bright light, which Dee was here and she read from those when they came out, the bright light when it came out. Do you still conduct the live call-in show?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes,
Every
and
Sunday
Sunday morning at 9.
Yep.
Dee has a live call-in internet radio show and she also offers monthly webinars
Yep.
on a variety of creation subjects. Every morning I do my affirmations, and she's going to give us a whole lot more. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute delight, and I'm going to get healthy. Please welcome Lee Wallace. Just make me well. Just feel Look how cute she is.
She's so cute.
What? You're so cute.
I'm little. As you can see, I'm an oxymoron. So I spend half my life doing horror films and the other half of my life healing people from fear. And somehow it works really well for me. I don't know. So, first of all, what I want to be really clear, because this is the core of all your creation work. And I want you to get questions ready that you have about how to create anything. Okay. What I gave Vicki those many years ago were not affirmations. They were literally a direction for her energy. We all learned in 8th grade, probably 5th grade, that everything's energy, right?
Yes.
Everything's energy. Energy's always been here. Energy will always be here. Energy has to have direction. If you don't consciously direct your energy, it will be directed through false beliefs, dear God, the media, of which I'm part of, oxymoron, the old incorrect lessons that you learned in church or at home or getting socialized or whatever. So I'm convinced now, after studying brain science, teaching spirituality for over 40 years, that Christ was teaching brain science. If you go to the good book, it pretty much says everything that brain science says, in a way that they had to say it before they had a brain. Well, I mean, they had a brain, but they didn't know what the hell a brain was, right? So, you know, like, think only on these things,
Yes.
like love,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Think on, which science would say, whatever you focus on, you create more of. That's why if you're sick, you don't want to focus on the sickness.
Everybody's looking at me.
Well, I'm looking at everybody. I was sitting back there that went like this when she said thyroid. So, I don't know why I did this, but I had my assistant send me, oh, my agent's calling, should I take it?
Take it. Yeah, really, we forgive those phone calls.
No, I'm not. Put her on speaker. I can't get it off. Gabby. I don't know, it won't go back to my phone.
Text and
It'll
say,
go
okay,
away.
back to
Well, it'll go away. Exactly. Okay, there, he went away, good. And this is from a book. This is an amazing book that you can order. It's by Michael J. Lincoln. It's called The Body Book, or Messages from the Body. And it's all the psychological backgrounds of every illness. Because if you don't get to the energetic cause of the illness, you're fucked.
Yep.
You may put a Band-Aid on it, you may get rid of it for a while, it'll come back, blah, blah, blah. So, oh, I hope it's a job. I've been calling it a job. I've been calling it in. All right, so there's many things under here. Do I have your permission to read what my channel said yours was about?
Please.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
No, it's
She
great.
asked my permission, that's really
It's
scary.
great because I told you that I had been diagnosed with Hashimoto's. I have absolutely no symptoms at all.
Did you do anything?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. But I take care of myself. But it's also from my work. I direct my energy. They told me I'd never have this beautiful daughter that you're going to see in a few minutes either. I said, thank you for sharing. God and I have a different plan. Okay, here it is, Vicki. Humiliation rage. They have a great deal of humiliation about the fact that no one respects them. Their experience is that their existence and importance is constantly being overlooked.
Welcome to showbiz.
They were the odd one out in their accusatory family.
Ooh. Wow.
Okay, so I don't know if you realize that you've expressed that to me 3 or 4 times. So my invitation to anybody, there's a lot of other things here under thyroid. Anybody that's dealing with cancer or thyroid or diabetes or anything, the answer to all disease about bringing it back into balance, because everything, nature, everything is striving to find a balance in the energy, right, is to love yourself. Love yourself and love yourself and love yourself more. Because then you will want to give yourself everything you want, which is healing, a well and healthy body, money, okay, great relationships. And it's the last thing we're taught, guys. Go back. Everybody pull up right now what your mom and dad or your grandparents, if like me you were raised by your grandparents a lot, what they told you about, oh, always put yourself first, sweetheart. Love yourself. You're so special. You're wonderful. You don't have to give your toy away if you want to play with it. Anybody?
No.
Okay, well, I kind of rest my case. You got that? Okay, so your parents said to you, put yourself first above everybody else. You're lucky. 1 out of 50-some people, right?
And I work in insurance.
And I really had incredibly powerful mother and grandmother that taught me how special I was. But it is literally locked in our genes, guys. Look, poor Eve, she picked a fucking apple and look what happened. Seriously, right? So especially if you're a woman, especially if you're a woman.
Yep.
We have been encouraged to be second-hand citizens from the beginning of time. So how many of us define ourselves by how much we give away ourselves to take care of other people?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, if you were on an airplane, what would they tell you?
Mask first.
Put your own mask on first, baby, because if you go under, everybody else goes under if they depend on you. Right? So, there are, I want to quickly throw out the very simple points of creation. Know what you want. I guarantee you that half this room, if you came up here and I started a session with you, I go, what do you want? You tell me what you don't want.
Yeah.
Okay? The brain thinks in pictures. You tell a 2-year-old kid, don't touch the TV, he'll go. And go right over there and touch that TV. Because the brain thinks in pictures. So you say, I don't want the disease. What does your brain do? It sees the disease. So what do you want? Health, balance, love, excitement, energy. Those are the things you want to fill yourself up with. What is so frickin' funny in the back? The second thing, you have to know what you want, you have to commit to it. And what is commitment? No matter what, I'm going to do this. No matter what I have to do, I'm going to take steps to do this right now because I love myself enough to do this. Third thing is find your love place. Everybody find your love place. Now your love place is something that you think of that like that. Your heart opens and you go, for me it's my doggie. My little freedom doggie. Or Gabby when she was a little baby, Gabrielle, sorry. When she was a baby and I'd hear over the monitor going, mama, mama, mama. So find your love place. Some place that just like that opens your heart. Everybody got one? Okay. Think about health. Well, if you don't have one, that gives you a big key right there. Because you're not going to create what you want, baby, if your heart's closed. And what's the first thing we do to protect ourselves? We close our heart, we close our chakras, and when we do that, all the energy can't flow, right? So you want to find your love place and go to that place first, and then match everything you want to that. Yeah. It's amazing. It's almost miraculous, quite frankly. See, most of us want more money while we hate having not money, not enough money, right? Ain't ever going to make more money for you. When anything you're judging, anything you're angry about or have any kind of animosity toward will go away from you. Do you understand? It will go away from you. So you have to bring yourself into alignment with what you want, and then the universe just walks towards you with it. But this is where all the work is. Most people are out there taking a lot of action without being in harmony and alignment first within themselves. Okay, so
Dee, how does one foster that self-love? I mean, it's a term we hear all the time.
well, that's
Love
funny
yourself.
because that's what this book is all about.
Excellent.
But is my time up? Because I
No, go.
okay.
What's it called?
It's Gabrielle's book. Eat, Pray, #FML. Yes, fuck my life. And I have to read because a lot of my clients, I have healing clients all over the world. Most of them lie in the age range of the people
Us.
that are in this room. Yeah. Well, they're not
Old.
millennials. I have a few millennials. So I had one lady write me and go, Dee, I picked up your book, I read it, I'm divorcing my husband.
Oh, wow.
I said, okay, let's do a private session before we just jump right in this. But she said, no, I realized after reading your daughter's book that I had been disrespected for 30 years. And she left. And she's flourishing and she's happy. How do we love How do we love ourselves? That's what Gabrielle kept asking me, and I would give her my answer, but she came up with really how. Yeah, so you can understand as a mother and a healer and a teacher how incredibly moved I am that my daughter got what I've been teaching and implemented it into her own life after this horrible betrayal and divorce. And that I'll leave that for her to say. But I want to read you this other one. I have two nieces. This is from another client, about the same age as your daughter, the author. I bought the book and started to read it myself, and I couldn't put it down. It's written as if the reader is on this journey as well. Well, any of us that have been damaged or betrayed or fucked over in our lives, we're on that journey, aren't we? The chapters are just the right length, and it speaks to those of all ages, as the younger will identify and relate to characters. And by the way, and I can tell this room does, if you're into sex, because we've talked about it a lot, that's in here too. Okay, so the more mature aged reader will be reminded of their own youthful rite of passage. The experiences are universal, and the lesson that the author came up with is for anyone of all ages, genders, races. It is the human experience as told by someone in her 20s. I can highly recommend this for anyone to read. I can't tell you how many of my clients I hear this from, that they couldn't put my daughter's book in. I'm sorry, I'm kvelling, is that the right word? A little bit. So I want you to know that if there's anything in your life you want to heal, you can do it. Now, how many people felt or thought, You see, you are the God of you. Nobody can think a thought for you, right? Right?
Right.
Nobody can feel a feeling for you, right?
Correct.
Nobody can hold a perspective or a judgment or even take an action for you that you don't condone, right?
Right.
Okay, so that makes you the God of you. And if you don't take responsibility over your own creation, somebody else will, and they don't know. They don't know. Most of us are creating our lives and ourselves around thoughts and belief systems that are somebody else's. So a thought isn't just something you're stuck with, guys. A thought is something you can go, thank you for sharing. You don't serve what I want anymore. I'm going to pick the thought that I want to think, and I'm going to focus on that until it happens. That's why I think I've never had any symptoms of Hashimoto's. That's why I have my daughter, because I didn't buy somebody else's thought about what I could create, right? So how many people, I would just like to take some rapid fire questions around creation. I forgot my pen, but my keys work. Anybody have a question?
Dee, I just want to say, when you you must have random thoughts that don't serve you.
Of course.
So you talk them away? Is that
I
what you
do. And you know what? I have a lot of fun doing it. I go, Deanna Powers. Seriously, you want to think that thought? Because if you think that thought, your blood pressure's going to go up, your money's going to go away, your agents aren't going to call you.
Right.
But hey, if you want to keep thinking I'm a big piece of shit and nobody respects me, you go ahead, flush yourself down the toilet. By that time, I'm laughing, which is always a great thing. If you really want to turn yourself around like that, whether you have a reason or not, start laughing.
Yeah.
Start laughing. I thought it was interesting when I was listening to your beautiful songs up here, that one of, I love to be lonely is part of the lyric, right? And here Vicki started talking about her relationship and her challenges with her relationship, and this is her favorite song. I want you to see how everything's connected about what you're drawn to, what you expect. How many of us in this room believe that everything's possible? Okay, well then I'd ask for a lot more, guys. Unless you were taught like me in the Midwest, good old Kansas. You only need what you need, Dee.
Yeah. Don't be greedy.
Don't be greedy, because they're the rich people. We're the good people. So cut to me at 32. I'm starring in the biggest blockbuster of all time. Everybody's talking to me. I made more money than I ever made in my life. And Deanna Bowers inside was going, hide, go away, walk away, God hates you now. Everybody in Kansas is judging you because you're one of them now. Well, but you're all identifying with this, right? I would love to invite you all to watch my TED Talk. Just go to YouTube and watch. It's all about how the messages of our little child within us, those are the walls we're hitting right now. Because the adult in us is going, yes, I want this, and the little kid in us is going, don't you dare. And until we're integrated, and integrate our teenager and our little girl and or boy around everything, you're a house divided against yourself, and a house divided does what? Falls. Yeah, you bet. I'm no good on time when I'm in the channel.
No, go ahead, ask, take.
Because I want to make sure she has enough time.
Look at this mother, it's so wonderful. We have time, we're good.
Well, yeah, but it's not just that I'm the mother. This is an amazing book, Vicki.
I love this.
And it's helping so many people in a fun way. And I want her to have her. All right, you had a question.
Well, maybe your daughter will address it, but I totally, I'm really appreciating and vibing with everything you're saying.
Thank you.
And I've been listening to Abraham Hicks for years, and I've already been, I get it in my head. My question is, if you, or maybe your daughter does too, have a process for awareness is the healer, right? Like, we know all this stuff, but, you know.
Yeah, but to know and not to do is not yet to know.
Well, right, but my question is, like, do you have any processes or
She does.
To unveil and earth, because I just did a one-person show and I have a whole thing about doing the 40-day prosperity plan and getting $14,000 in debt, getting fired. So it unearthed the opposite of me.
All right, so let me give you...
Because I didn't really believe it. So affirmations can bring up the opposite.
They're not affirmations. Forget affirmations.
Right.
Your subconscious is going bullshit with the affirmations.
Exactly. Your heart, your little girl heart, if you don't really believe it.
You have to go, I am in charge of my energy, and I am directing you what to think.
Yes.
And what to feel, period. So it's a much more powerful stance that you're taking than an affirmation. And remember, you're connecting a feeling with it. The universe is going to answer your feelings, guys, more than it answers your words.
Of course.
Okay, so what you just said told me that there is a belief in you that says no matter what I do, if I do all the right shit, it still doesn't work.
No, that's not what I said. I said, what's the process to
No, I know,
let go of that feeling?
But what you
To become
did
conscious
in your
of-
one-woman show, you said was, I did all these affirmations and then I have stories about how they didn't
Yeah,
work.
that was a joke 20 years ago. Now I'm in a different place.
Okay.
It was to say that until you integrate, like you said, the child,
Yes.
the teenager, and you resonate, like you said, I was doing it from fear, like out of
Yes.
fear. So I'm just saying that Louise Hay and all that stuff, I don't believe in that, because if you don't really believe it in your heart, your worthiness, you are not going to get rich, famous, skinny, pretty, none of that shit. You will never attract that.
Okay.
So those of us some people go around reading these books and writing these affirmations, but it never works for them.
No, it doesn't.
Because they don't feel it. So I'm
Because
wondering
they don't
about
love
process.
themselves enough to get it.
Right, the process, how do you let go of all the shit and really love yourself?
Well,
And,
I think I'm
know,
going to turn this over to
choose
you
it.
because you go into this in your book really, really well. But I am going to give you, before I go, one little exercise. Everybody stand up. Now pick one thing that you want. Healthy, money,
Ka-ching.
great sex.
Yes.
What? Everybody got it? One thing. Okay, now, I don't know if you can see me from back there. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be like a little 3-year-old kid and throw a temper tantrum of fun. So we're going to stand. We're going to... All right, hang on. Now, while you're doing science tells you it has to come together to create what you want. You're having fun. You love it. You're stating it like you've already got it.
Yes.
And your brain's going, damn, I want to play there. I want those thoughts, right? Simple little exercise, and it's a lot of fun if you do it totally naked in the morning.
Dee Wallace!
Thank you. I'm happy to channel for anybody if you want to grab me back there. And ladies and gentlemen, my beautiful...
Wait, I'm gonna have to...
I've thought of it. They said I never have.
Wait, I'm gonna introduce her first. Dee Wallace! I had a lot of fun jumping up and down. I'm like, now I'm wide awake. I'll be doing that every day. That's a good thing. One more hand for Dee Wallace. I don't know about you guys, but I feel kind of healed right now. I feel so much better. Do you feel better?
Yeah.
You feel better? I feel better. By the way, somebody pointed out that today is George Harrison's birthday. Happy birthday. He was my favorite Beatle. I'm so excited. He really was. He was my Beatle. Okay. So, you know, Dee wrote to me about Gabrielle months ago and said my daughter wrote a book and it's about, you know, healing from her relationship, and, you know, I'm like, a 20-something is going to come and talk to this room full of mature women and tell us about love and healing. No, I don't think. And I made a deal. I said, well, all right, yeah. I said no. I said, Gabrielle, I'll tell you what. If you come, bring your mom, and then I'll have you go. Let's make a deal. But that turned out to be pretty good, right? We're glad that happened. But it's worthy. It's here. Eat, pray. Hashtag fuck my life. I had to look up what that meant. I am old. I didn't know it was fuck my life. I'm like, I had no idea what it was. Okay. Gabrielle Stone made her own mark in the horror genre. Another one. What is it with the horror movies with you girls?
We scream one.
They scream a lot. Right? They scream a lot. Starring in Lionsgate's Speak No Evil. She then went on to star in Anchor Bay's Zombie Killers, Elephant's Graveyard. Gabrielle had leading roles in the festival dramas Stray and Grief. She was then seen in Ava's Impossible Things, as well as Dance Night Obsession. Gabrielle had 2 feature films in 2017, The Competition, opposite Chris Klein. She then starred in the indie feature Swell, receiving rave reviews. Making waves with her directorial debut, It Happened Again Last Night, it won 12 awards, including 4 Best Actress awards for Gabrielle,
Whoa.
who also played Lee. Most recently, she was seen in Rock, Paper, Dead. Wow, there is a theme in your life. Opposite Michael Madsen, Tatum O'Neal, and Marie McCormick, and had a lead role in Maternal Instincts. This year, Gabrielle will star in another horror film. Await the Dawn. Okay, I maybe need my glasses. Her second directorial effort, starring Amy Smart and Dee Wallace, just earned her a Best Director award. After a shocking revelation in her personal life in 2017, Gabrielle went on a solo journey to Europe, where she discovered how to heal and love herself. She wrote the book, Eat, Pray, #FML, to share her experience with all of us. I was cynical about it, as I told you, and since I'm still mainlining him, you know, #WhatTheFuck. So I figure I could probably use a little lesson from her. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get schooled by the youngins because out of the mouths of babes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, please.
Okay, first of all, I'm 31, guys. what kind of crowd this would be, and then Vicki came up and talked about sex and dropped the F-bomb. So I was like, I'm right at home. So let me start by giving you a little synopsis of what this book is about. In 2017, I was married for almost 2 years. Found out my husband was having an affair with a 19-year-old for 6 months.
Ew.
I know.
Ew.
I know. Right?
Yeah.
Filed for divorce, left. Shortly after that, met a guy, an actor, who fell madly in love with each other and had a whirlwind romance, you know, like meet my family, have my babies, all the fairy tale bullshit. And he convinced me to go on a month-long trip to Italy with him. 48 hours before we were getting on a plane, he told me he needed to go by himself. My thoughts exactly. I was devastated, broke my heart like my ex-husband never could have done. But I had a decision to make, and that was either stay at home and be heartbroken or go travel Europe for a month by myself. So I took a backpack, which is so unlike me to not travel without, luggage. And I did 6 countries over the span of a month completely by myself. And wrote a book about it. So for the writers in the room, I took a leather-bound journal with me. I started this book the day I landed on my trip, wrote 3/4 of it in that journal on my trip, and transferred it when I came home, obviously, and finished it. But my whole journey was really about finding out how to love myself. People had been telling me this my whole life, you have to learn how to love yourself before you can love others, and loving yourself is the most important thing. And I was sitting there going, okay, I'm ready to do this. Can anybody tell me how? And there was not a clear way of being able to love myself. I'm an actor, give me directions, I'll do it. And so I knew going on this journey that that's what I was looking for, that's what I had to figure out. Happy to say I did. And it has not only changed my life, the main message of this book is really how to love yourself and how you can actively do that. And a lot of the messages I get from women around the world are thanking me for that specifically, because it's something that's so important for us to be able to not only love ourselves, but to really give the type of love that is deserved to the people that are in our lives too. So I'm going to read a little snippet that's going to answer your question you asked, that's very clear on my way to self-love. Well, I had begun to scratch the surface of the concept of loving myself. I can't tell you that I fully and truly realized how to do it on my grand European adventure. This monumental discovery came well after my return home, after more heartache, gallons of tears, and a shit ton of soul searching. I now know fully and completely how to love myself. I do it every day, and I preach it to my friends, family, and anyone who will listen. It has changed my life, and I would like to share that with you all now. So here it is. Make yourself a cocktail. Really, Gabrielle? No, not the type where you'll have a hangover and regret the next day. A self-love cocktail. Just like the thought onion, this is a trick that I now live by. I have a self-love cocktail. Let me explain. What makes you happy? What brings you joy? What are the things that you can control that contribute to your happiness? For me, it is eating right, going to the gym, meditating, creating, and dancing. Those things are what make my soul happy. So go ahead right now in your head and make your own list. Now that you have your ingredients, it's time to make your cocktail. Some days, you will only be able to give yourself a few ingredients. It will be a stiffer drink, vodka and olives. Be compassionate with yourself. You have to start somewhere. For me, it was eating and going to the gym. Eating right and going to the gym. I needed to commit to giving that to myself every single day. After I had built my tolerance up, I moved to a cocktail with a few more fun elements. A base of healthy eating and the gym time with a splash of meditation. I forced myself to continually give these things that I knew made me feel good and happy. After a while, I was having the full-on fancy mixology cocktail. 2 parts healthy eating, 1 part gym, a splash of meditation, garnished with dancing, shaken and poured over a whole shit ton of creating. It seems so simple, doesn't it? I kept saying, I don't know how to love myself, when all I had to do was give the things that I love to myself. The more you give your soul the things that make you happy, the better you will feel. And without even realizing it, you are loving yourself. I now have a self-love cocktail every day. Is my life completely perfect and figure out? Hell no. Did you just read what a shit show my world can be? But you know what? I love the freaking hell out of myself. So there you have it. Write out your ingredients, make a cocktail, and drink that shit every single day. So, look, this book ended up without me intending it to be a self-help book. That is, in terms, what it is. But it's very not in your face. It's my experiences, my mistakes and regrets and things that happened to me in my life and a crazy European adventure that took place afterwards. But all of that is learning how to love myself and learning how to really get my power back and take my own hands back into my life. So you'll feel like you're reading a ridiculous Netflix show that just so happens to be really helping you deal with a lot of deep-rooted issues. When I was a little girl, I found my father on the floor dead at 6. I lost my boyfriend in a car accident at 18. I come from the genetic makeup of abandonment issues, and this book, writing it, helped me heal that, and people reading it are now able to get that as well. So if putting all my dirty laundry and personal shit into this book has been able to help people do that, then I have done my job, and I am so happy that I went through everything that I did, because I am a walking example of everything happens for a reason. So thank you guys for having me.
Right there. That was. And I was thinking about it, and how many days have I did work out today. I did go for a speed walk and walk with God this morning, and I did meditate this morning, and I haven't had anything to eat, let alone gluten, soy, and all that other stuff. But I never thought of it in terms of taking care of myself as loving myself, but it absolutely, I was thinking I had to pet myself, I don't know, you are wonderful, you are, no, but actually doing the things that make me happy is it's lovingly treating myself, that's for sure. And our next performer has left the building. I don't know where he is, but I'm going to start introducing him anyway. You're somewhere in here.
Got his guitar.
There he is, okay. So James Lee Stanley has been in this living room a couple times already, and he actually also, some years ago, about 8 years ago, Mike Nesmith produced Women Who Write up at the Henry Miller Library in Big Sur, and Elle was there, and Linda was there, and I don't know if anybody else in the room was there, but Allie Willis was there, and James Lee was there, and it was actually the first time that Mike Nesmith played out in 17 years with his first national band, and he ended up going on the road from that. Wow. Hi, Linda. I just noticed you. And then he rejoined the Monkees. And so I'm saying that Women Who Write was responsible for all of that. I like to say that. Yeah. He doesn't admit it, but we know the truth. But anyway, James was there. James Lee Stanley is an American singer, songwriter, musician, composer, actor, and producer. A true Renaissance man. James Lee has been recording and performing since the age of 14 with 34 CD releases and innumerable television and film credits to his name. James scored the Emmy-winning Kathy specials for CBS Prime Time and spent 6 years on Star Trek Deep Space Nine as various aliens, including the singing Klingon. James has toured consistently since he returned from the United States Air Force as a Chinese linguist, and has performed up to 300 dates a year since then, with such diverse acts as Bonnie Raitt, Robin Williams, Nicolette Larson, Chicago, and Stephen Stills. Stephen Wright chose James Lee as his opening act for 3 years in a row, which is a testament to who he is. James Lee's latest release, Without Susie, is now charting at Americana Radio, and he also hosts another radio show, a weekly radio show on the Folk Music Notebook. Is that what it is? On the
That's what it is.
Okay. He has just completed his 4th CD in the All Wood and series. Okay, so he has All Wood and Doors. The new one is All Wood and Lead. These things. So All Wood and Doors is mind blowing with Cliff Eberhardt. He took all these Doors covers, but they don't sound like anything you've ever heard before. And I love the Doors, but a couple of the songs, I like James's versions better, and that's not a lie. His latest one, All Wood and Lead, is with his latest collaborator, our friend Dan Navarro, who's been here. The previous CDs in this series were All Wood and Stones, 1 and 2, and All Wood and Doors, as I said, with Cliff. So, James Lee also writes the 2 million hit blog, dadamusicata.com, and he hasn't been to sleep since 1984. But I'm so glad for that, because that means we get so much of him, and we're going to get so much of him right now. I love him, love him, love him. Everybody, please welcome. Woo! James said, I love you and I respect you.
It's nice to be back here, and thank you for staying. I appreciate it. Vicki invited me this time because last summer I had, because I'm 73, I had the colonoscopy, which you're supposed to have, and my wife said, why don't you have an endoscopy at the same time so you get like a musician on a spit, you know? So I did it, and the next day my throat was really bothering me, and it kept getting worse. And I finally went back to the doctor and said, look, you must have messed up. And he said, I didn't do anything, it wasn't me, you know. So I went to another doctor, and about 10 doctors later, it turns out that I had something called squamous cell carcinoma on the back of my tongue. And it was about half the size of a golf ball. And it was giving me a nice gravelly voice. I was using it well, you know.
They didn't see that, James Lee.
He didn't even notice it.
What?
You know, what can I tell you? In any event, I went to like, I don't know how many MRIs, PET scans, CAT scans, you know, everything. And they said, well, it appears that you have cancer. And I said, nobody in my family has cancer on either side, ever. How can I have cancer? He said, well, yours is a special cancer. It comes from something called HPV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it turns out that you get it from oral genital contact.
TMI!
Yeah, and so what I'd like to do is to recommend all of you boil your friends for 30 minutes You never know where they've been, you know. So I had to have this operation on November the 8th, and they said it'll be 6 months to a year before you sing again. And then on January the 3rd, I did a concert with my pal Severin Brown at Kulak. So it was 7 weeks after the operation.
Yeah. Good creating. Hey, James, do you want to use the microphone, perchance? It's. I think it's hot. Ready?
Yeah, okay. So this, I remember when they were rolling me into the operation room, or whatever it is, the theater. I was lying on that little table with the wheels, and I was thinking, I wonder if this is it. You know, and I realized that I had absolutely no fear of dying. The only fear that I had was that I wouldn't finish all wood and lead before. I'm not kidding. So the night before the operation, I worked until midnight and finished the album. Just in case.
Microphone,
You want that microphone?
Yeah, I think you do.
Okay.
especially if you're plugging your guitar in.
Well, I wasn't going to play the guitar until later. So watch out for that wire. Watch out for that tree.
Can somebody help with my, yeah,
I think
Penny's,
she's doing it.
Penny's doing it. Thank you, Penny.
Thank you, Penny.
She makes kugel and she fixes microphones.
Okay, so this is a song that I wrote several years ago with my pal Tom Dundee, who's no longer with us. I think we can move that, Penny, because the wire won't fit. And I didn't. It didn't have as much I mean, it had a lot of resonance for me, but not as much as now. It's called This Fleeting Moment.
I don't think that microphone's working.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Yeah,
on,
it
it's
is.
just
Okay.
low.
If the sun shone all the time, midnight never came, the clouds all blew away, and we never faced the rain, would we miss the dark, celebrate the dawn? Would we miss the pain when all the pain is gone? What would we call the sound of a gentle morning dove? Would we know joy without the loss of love? As the flickering candle burns, does the mystery remain? If the seasons didn't turn, would the road still be the same? What would be the reason then, if we never had to cry, for passion to exist? If we never had to die? So come lay with me, my love, and I will hold you near, and we'll cherish what we have in this fleeting moment here. The greatest gift of all, from our smiles to helpless tears, is the impending loss we all face in this fleeting moment here. So come lay with me, my love, and I will hold you near, and we'll cherish what we have in this fleeting moment here. So come lay with me, my love, and I will hold you near, and we'll cherish what we have in this fleeting moment here. Yes, we'll cherish what we have in this fleeting moment here. at 196 pounds. And my wife said, James, you're really packing it on. I said, no, I'm not. I've seen me naked, I look good. No, you don't, she said. But of course I didn't believe her because, well, that's our dynamic. I always invite people to videotape my shows. You can videotape any show you ever see me do, audio tape, videotape, iPhone it, I don't care. Wherever I am, if you see me performing, you can record the show, okay? And as a matter of fact, you can make copies of it, give them to your friends, I don't care. Okay? As a matter of fact, you can make copies of my shows and you can sell them to your friends. And you may keep the money, I don't care. I do have one small request, though. Should you begin to make, serious money selling copies of my shows, please contact my record label, Beachwood Recordings, right here in Los Angeles. Please contact them if you begin to make a lot of money selling my music. Just contact them and tell them how you did it. They don't know, I got with that label, I feel like a part of the witness protection program. Anyhow, somebody sent me a video of one of my performances, and my wife was at work, so I went into the den. I got a big TV, and I sat down with a martini, and I got ready to dig myself, Turned it on. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome James Lee Stanley. Out comes Alfred Hitchcock. Guy's got my guitar, I thought, I could not believe that round, fat, bald guy was me, because I thought I looked good, I was quite surprised to find that I had gained so much weight. It's just a tragedy, folks, when food replaces sex in your life. It's just sad. You can't even get into your own pants. Anyhow, my wife put me once I came back with the cancer diagnosis, she put me on this diet, which it turns out is the same diet that Vicki was doing. I've had no booze and no alcohol, no dairy, no white carbs, and no sugar. And I thought it would be really miserable, but after 4 or 5 months, sugar doesn't taste that great. It's a little harsh in the throat,
it's true.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, since the operation, I've become the owner of 700 turtlenecks. Turtleneck shirts, turtleneck t-shirts, turtleneck pajamas. I've got anyhow, where was I? What was I talking about? Do you remember?
So how much weight?
That's right. So I lost, went from 196 to 169.
Wow.
On that diet. And I'm finding that I don't even like meat that much anymore. I just think on this plant-based diet, which works for everything except when you're talking. I'll read some new songs off of the new album, okay?
Would you do one off All Wooden Doors just for me? Can you do one?
Yes.
I'd be very grateful.
How can I say no to you? Have I ever refused you anything?
Not that I can think of, James.
Let's see. Is that one all right?
It's wonderful.
I've been holding out so long, I've been suffering on my own, Lord, I miss you. I've been tossing in my sleep, 'cause you've been haunting all my dreams. I want to kiss you. Oh, where you been so? Been so long. Oh, where you been been so long. I've been lying to myself, 'cause it's you and no one else. Lord, I miss you. I've been living on the phone. I've been sleeping all alone. I want to kiss you. Oh, dear, what I do? Where you been so long? Where you been so long? Oh, where you been so long? Oh, I miss you, girl. How I miss you, girl. Oh, I miss you. How I miss you, girl. I've been stumbling in the dark. I've been walking after dark. People ask me, are you alright? Oh, where you been so long? Where you been so long? Oh, where you been so long? Are you alright?
Susan's holding up the line. All right, I just want to say that was all wooden stones, not all wooden doors.
you want all wooden
But,
doors? Okay,
no,
okay.
no, but I want you to play from your new ones.
It's alright.
By the way, what do we do when we finish, ladies and gentlemen? We buy stuff. We buy books and we buy CDs. That's what we do.
You want a door? I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
That's okay. It was wonderful. I loved it.
Let's see if I can do this with all these wires tangled in. Something must be unplugged, huh? Let's swim to the moon. Let's climb to the tide.
That's what I'm talking about.
Penetrate the evening light. The city streets too high. Let's do mountain up love. It's so good to try. Park beside the ocean on a moonlight drive. Moonlight drive. Let's swim to the moon. Let's climb through the tide. Surrender to the waking world. The daylight tries to hide. Nothing left open. Nothing to decide. Slip into that river on our moonlight drive. Moonlight drive. You reach your hand to hold me, but I cannot be your guide. Say I love you as I watch you glow. When everything gets falling strong. Moonlight drive, moonlight drive. Down by the ocean side.
What cancer?
Thank you.
Great. Holy shit.
I've been ever since they impeached Clinton, I started getting involved in politics, and then when the Supreme Court appointed George Bush president, I got really pissed because I thought this was going to be a revolution because they just stopped counting votes and they installed their guy as the president. But nobody said anything except what's on TV, and they just let it slide.
Yep.
I think that was the beginning of the major cancer that's in our government right now, and I've become more and more and more political. And
Thank you.
my wife pointed out that I was becoming, what was her pet? Asshole. She said, you're becoming you're becoming an asshole. You talk about it all the time, you spoil every show by, and I said, okay. So I decided I would write no more political songs, just fluff. Except for this one. Okay, want some water? I realized that when you write protest songs, nobody even likes them except the people who already agree with you. So it's kind of a waste of time. So I decided to write songs that were provocative without being, full of condemnation. So there's no "die you motherfucker" in the song at all. Not even one of those. Heading down the dark road, there's no telling where we're going. Something in those shadows doesn't seem right to me. Heading down the dark road, dividing lines, and all I see, one side lies between you and me. Taking a look around, can't believe what I think I see. Taking a look around, is this the best that we can be? The like the way, no sense of direction. Still we spend another day heading down that dark road. Seems we got a lot to lose. Coming to a crossroad, which way will we choose? Taking a look around, can't believe what I think I see. Taking a look around, is this the best that we can be? Everybody knows we're bound to reap what we sow. We're gonna reap what we sow. Taking a look around, can't believe what I think I see. Taking a look around, is this the best that we can be? Taking a look around, can't believe what I think I see. Taking a look around, is this the best that we can be? Is this the best we can be? Thank you.
Leave us happy, James Lee. I'm crying now. I'm so
So
sad.
I was going to sing When Love Comes Knocking Around, but is that okay? Or I could sing a brand new one called Live It Up Now, You Can Live It Down Later.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear that?
Sure.
This one's pretty good. Live it
So,
up now.
actually, this is a part for audience, so you can do this. I go like this. Live it up now. Because I go. Live it up now. That's my part. Your part is. Live it up. Live it up. Yeah, you know, give me a little bit of rain. Live it up. Live it up. And you can live it down later. Live it up now. Live it up. Live it up now. Live it up. Live it up now, and you can live it down later. Everybody's got a word or two to say to you. Everybody knows exactly what is best for you. So when the boys break, it don't matter what they say, 'cause they will come around someday, sooner or later. Live it up now.
Live it up.
Live it up now.
Live it up.
Live it up now. You can live it down later. It's a given. The days we get are numbered still. It's up to us to take them and celebrate them how we will and how we will. But when I be grateful, it won't matter then at all. So go and have yourself a ball. Yeah, the sooner the better.
Yeah.
Live it up now.
Live it up.
Live it up now.
Live it up.
Live it up now, and you can live it down later. Can you sing the whole chorus?
Live it up now. Live it up.
Live it up now.
Live it up.
Live it up now, and you can live it down later. Let those preachers preach salvation in the fires of hell. Let that politician spew his lies. Let him tweet, let him yell. Oh, I forgot. That's the last one. Let him tweet, let him yell. Time will tell, and everybody knows. He's gonna reap just what he sowed. And the fuse is bound to blow sooner or later. Ready? Live it up now.
Live it up.
Live it up now.
Live it up.
Live it